There is a book called Trials of Brother Jero, and in there is this wife who kept telling the husband, your friends are driving long cars, meaning the limousine. And for you, you're here riding a bicycle. You have failed in life. So she kept making him feel less and less of himself. And then in most cases, when men fail to provide, the women deny them conjugal rights. And we know that in the life of a man, as long as he's married, one of the most important things in his life is sex. So you take that off the table because he can't provide, because he's not doing ABCD. It's basically violence against him, because when we talk about violence, people think it's punches. But even emotional abuse, taking away sex off the table, it is still violence. And
well, of course, just like Oliver's given us some of the triggers of gender-based violence, please do not, when you also look at some of the types of gender-based violence, there are categories like physical violence, like she has alluded to as well, sexual violence, emotional and psychological violence, including the socioeconomic violence and its triggers, yes. The issue of the economy. But that said, we are also joined by Pastor Cyrus Road, who joins us, and from his view of things, he'll also give us his take on fighting against gender-based violence. But first, let's check on him and see how he's doing. And we are in the festive season, so I wonder how he intends to celebrate this season. A very good morning, Pastor.
Good morning, my friend. How are you doing?
I am well. Good to see you.
Pleasure is mine.
How are you doing? How is the festive season?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm fine.
You're fine,
you
huh?
You look like you're ready for Christmas.
Oh, more than ready. More than ready. Yeah.
Pastor, this is a conversation that is not only exclusive to anybody, but it's a conversation that even the young ones are affected. Okay. Gender-based violence. Looking at it from a scope of a married person, what in most cases leads to these increasing cases?
I believe, I'll be honest with you, let me probably ask a question before I do the answering. Okay. It will lead me to the answer. Imagine you bought a Mercedes from Spear Motors, okay? Or Germany. You buy a Mercedes and they give you a warranty on that vehicle, okay? If they give you a warranty, you bought a Mercedes, they give you a warranty, and they say, if anything happens, please do what? Come back to us. We're going to cover you. We're going to take care of everything. And you say, good. So something happens to your vehicle as you're moving on. And what do? You run down to Kiseka Market. There's some good guys there. But you run down there, you tell them, guys, oh my goodness, this car, you go driving it, I need you to fix it. It's got something showing on the dashboard and all this kind of stuff. And immediately, they say, we're going to fix it. 2 hours later, nothing. 3 hours later, you came driving, now the car can't even move. Okay? Yes. The car can't even move. I have a question. Who are you going to blame? Yourself. Why are you behaving like that? If somebody calls you mad, are they wrong?
To a degree, they might be.
You know.
To a degree, they might be.
Because you know, you're supposed to take the car to Spear Motors, which is experienced in handling Mercedes, and you took it to Kiseka Market.
One may say maybe because you didn't have the money.
No. This car has a warranty. This car has a warranty. This is what I'm bringing out to you. When we fail at love, we are mad. We are insane. We are mentally ill. Sometime back we talked about mental illness here. But let me tell you something. Anybody that is not walking in love, that is not able to take care. I mean, you're a woman and you get married and I lift up my hand and punch your nose and punch your eyes. And you think I am sane? Why am I behaving the way I'm behaving? I'm behaving in this manner, number one, because when I failed at love, I never run to God. I run to my fellow losers to begin advising me. Then I reduce relationship of love to a transaction for my own benefit. Whatever I'm doing is causing the violence, is causing the abuse, because violence is abuse, correct? Injure, destruction, and damage. So if I am loving a woman and I'm abusing her, I'm injuring her, I'm going to destroy her, I'm going to damage her, I'm going to destroy her. Look at all this. Who is to blame? Where is my problem? And I say, well, she calls me. No, she doesn't cause me. It's because I'm mentally ill. When I do not understand love, I become mentally ill. Whatever I'm doing is against me. It's not for me. When we talk about gender-based violence, and God creates a beautiful woman, brings them up, and they say, here, I give you a woman. You marry. And the next thing, you can't provide, you can't take care of her, you yell at her, even in tough moments, you cannot talk to her, you'd rather go and support Manchester, you'd rather go and do the Arsenal stuff, and you have no time to be at home. That is called crazy. You are insane. You're mentally ill. These things of drinking, why? We're trying to cope with our mental illness. Poverty, why? We're trying to cope with our mental illness. All these triggers that we look at and we say this causes this is causing the gender-based violence, are only just red herrings. They're just only to distract us. The real thing is we don't know what love is. When we failed at love, we never came back to the owner of love, to the initiator of love, who is God. And what do? Today many young men do not want to marry. They don't want to marry. Why? Oh, things will fall apart. Things will fail. That's insane. That's being mentally ill. That's totally being mad. When things go wrong, you don't take them to the wrong place. You go to the manufacturer. You go to the one who originated this stuff. You go to the person who made it. Before I ever came to God, I was mad. I was living over there, running here and there, and doing all that kind of stuff. But when things collapsed, I ran to the manufacturer. I said, you better help me out now. And I became better.
Pastor, I read somewhere recently that said that if we are to bring back, someone said we need to bring back love letters, and the reply was, or the response to that was, we need to bring back love first, if we are to bring back the love letters. So I wonder, how do we bring back love? And you've stressed this enough that it seems many cases of gender-based violence are a result of lack of love or lost love. How do we bring it back in the picture? Or how do we get people who are genuinely lovable? And in the same space, how do you know that someone who was loved while growing up?
Now, let me tell you something. When you look for people who are genuinely lovable, that is something we need to first examine and dissect and take a look at it. The reason I look for somebody who's genuinely lovable is because I do not believe I'm genuinely lovable.
Okay.
So you need a mirror.
Thank you. When I believe I'm genuinely lovable, I will look for somebody that I'm willing to love, not somebody who is genuinely lovable. Because I'll tell you something, everybody is genuinely lovable. But the reason we fail is because the person trying to give love does not have love. So I need somebody who can, at least, you're kind of fixed like 95%, okay? Then you're lovable. In other words, you'll never betray me, you'll never hurt me, you'll never turn your back on me, you'll never cheat on me, you'll always bring your money to me. Now then I say, oh, she's genuinely lovable. Because she's meeting my entire criteria, I'm doing my checklist, and yeah, she's doing good, yeah, she's genuinely lovable. The reality is everybody's genuinely lovable, but the people willing to love do not have the love. They are ignorant. So they say, first meet, if you meet my whole checklist, then I've loved you. No, I'm already there because of what I've been doing, and this is where I got. And you want a finished work. When you want a finished work, you say, now you're lovable, I can love you. No, we just need to discover, if I'm going to love, love is not by determination. This is where many people fail. You don't determine. I am determined to love. Love is by inspiration. Because when you look at what the church can do with this gender-based violence, it's all because we don't understand love. We love because he first loved us. Because he first loved us. So why do we love? Because he first loved us. So why am I going to love this woman? Because I was first loved by God. Because I was first loved by God, that's why I love this woman. But if I don't know how much God has loved me, I'm going to abuse her. Abuse is literally abstain from proper use. I'm going to abuse her. And that's where the violence is going to be. I'm going to damage her. That is the violence. I am going to destroy her by my own actions, yet I'm thinking I am loving. And that's where the whole challenge is.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm loving, but I'm not loving. The reality is, when you think you want to love, do you know how much you've been loved?
Okay. And let me bring in Olivia. Olive, when you look into these cases of gender-based violence, I wonder though, do the people who are, you know, kind of leading to these cases know that they are being violent on their partners or their relatives or anyone involved, or it's something they do out of just anger, or simply because they don't know that they're actually being violent?
Oh, Jerome. When someone is being violent, they know they're being violent. When you slap, let's say, a child, you know you're going to cause them pain, right? When you beat your partner, you know that you're doing whatever you're doing. Even the women who emotionally abuse their husbands, they know. You sit there in the living room, the day has been hard, the math has failed to math, and then she starts singing, Katinkola ya taxa, jikoa ya just, you get. They have these local songs they sing. The reason they are doing that is to send a message, and they want that message to hit and make you feel a certain type of way. So, to answer your question, they know that they are actually being abusive. And that's why in most cases, the minute they slap you, they're going to apologize. Okay? But the problem is that in the beginning, they will apologize and they will blame something. Oh, today has been a hard day, or I didn't get money, I had a rough day at work. Then you will forgive them. But you see, an abuser in most cases, by the way, does not start by slapping you. They will start by, first of all, alienating you. You find yourself without a support system. Because if you have friends like Olive, she will say, why do you allow him to talk to you like that? And so Olive becomes a problem.
And the reason I brought in that question is because most of the abusers claim they didn't intend. And I know you've had these stories. The abuser comes out and says, I did not intend to hurt this person. You know how much I love you. The manipulation kicks in.
It is the manipulation.
It is after beating your child, then you start saying, I didn't ban this child with intention. You all know I cannot. You all know I cannot do that to a child of mine, even when he did it intentionally. So, Pastor, bringing you into this conversation.
I love that question, the way you brought it out. I mean, do they really know what they're doing? Of course they do. And on the other hand, people need to understand, hurting people hurt others.
Hurt people hurt others. True.
You get me? If I have been hurt and I never healed,
I will hurt.
I will hurt you. That means it doesn't matter whether male or female, I will hurt you. Because that is the only way I can protect myself. I don't know any other way. I don't know what love is. I was hurt. What happened to me? Somebody did to me what is not love. Notice, if they hit me, cheated on me, they never expressed love to me. So I felt alienated. I felt rejected. I felt all alone. Now I'm trying to survive in this world. If Olivia comes in or Olive comes in, I will say, oh, I better watch out. I walk with my guards. Okay? Not to really protect myself. It may appear so, but in actual sense, to hurt you before you hurt me. To hurt you before you hurt me. So where is all this coming from? I'm failing at love. When I was hurt, I was never healed. We all have been hurt before, but the question is, have you been healed? When somebody comes in and says, well, I slapped you, but I never intended it. This is what I say. When you repent You do not give an excuse of why you did what you did. The reason people give an excuse, I come at our heart or slap you, Olive, and I say, but you made me do it. You know I love you, but you made me do it. The reality is this: I am not repenting. I am not turning away from what I did. I am still trying to justify myself and my actions. I'm giving an excuse of why I acted the way I acted, and that is very dangerous. Giving an excuse of why I acted the way I acted. I will never change because I have an excuse. But as long as I say that was wrong, I'm not supposed to do that, I ask you, forgive me. Give me a chance. Then I leave it in your hands to give me another chance. But now I am so abusive that I don't even leave it in your hands. I have to control how you're going to respond to my sorry. I have to control it. How do I do that? You made me do it.
Okay. I have a comment here, an interesting one. This one says, good morning, UBC, the lovely team. Let me take it short. The problem with gender-based violence is that we are doing, is what we are doing right now. If you can see even the topic itself, it is completely sidelining the men. Well, surprisingly, if you read the law, that it's not, sir. And then he says, again, one talk about gender-based violence, what comes in the mind of men is that a man violated a woman or a girl, yet there are also millions of men who are dying in silence for the same game of gender violence. And then he says, let us relook our policies and strategies we put in place. Perhaps we might be fueling the trend on the other hand. Thank you. Well, he raises a concern here saying that there are millions of men who are also dying in silence. And now, Pastor, I'm going to be taking you through this one. I wonder, though, from the side of the church, yes. Because as we are growing up, community or our neighborhood, the church, and even marriages play a very huge role in the upbringing of family or upbringing of anyone out there. And in Uganda today, church is very important. So I wonder, he makes something he makes a very critical comment here that millions of men are also dying in silence. However much the focus at times is on the men, on the women.
Can I come in?
But just a moment. But he then also mentions that we need to rechange our strategies. Yes. And this is where I want to bring you in, Pastor, before Olive comes in.
No, I just wanted to highlight something. Okay. Actually, as I've been speaking, I've been mentioning the cases where men are affected. But I want us to look at statistics because we are not just siding with the women. Research shows that the National Survey on Violence in Uganda reports that 95% of Ugandan women had experienced physical and or sexual violence. And Uganda Bureau of Statistics, this is a 2021 report, says the Gender State Minister in 2021 said there had been at least 168 deaths during the previous year, still at the hands of gender-based violence. Now, the prevalence rate, 27%, that was in 2013, that was men, and then 58.4%. So it's not because we want to speak of the women. And it's important, that's why here we are not saying against women, gender-based violence against women. When you look at our screen, that's not what we are saying. But let's face it, facts are facts. The number of people that is mainly affected by gender-based violence is women and girls. But of course, we understand that men too are being affected, and that takes us back to Sonko's question to the pastor. And
Pastor, here I bring you in. And also just to clarify to our dear viewer, we are looking at the role of the church in fighting gender-based violence, but also looking at it from the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Nowhere is it written that it's activism against the cases of men violating the women. But of course, your opinions and comments are really open to this conversation. Pastor Cyrus, looking into the church, the role of the church, what can the church do? Or what can those who subscribe to church beliefs or religious beliefs do in order to put an end to gender-based violence?
Really do appreciate that question, the way you raised it up. What I can say right now is many times I dealt with men, I dealt with women, but here is the problem. Usually when we are called out we begin going to the defensive. When men are called out to responsibility, it is so easy. We want to go on the defensive. And when we go on the defensive, we shut you down so you don't raise that problem again. We go on the defensive either by playing victim. Yeah, we say, oh, it's happening to me. Y'all do not consider others. It's happening to me. No, if you have somewhere to correct, you approach it and do the correction rather than playing the victim, rather than going to the defensive. And this is where most men are. We are called out. We are not operating the way we ought. We are acting violently towards the people we claim to love or we think we love. And they say, oh, no, you talk about the women also. No. First, get away from that. If it has come to you, embrace it as a man. Be a man. Embrace it and don't go into the defensive tactics. Nobody's caring about us. Everybody doesn't care about the man. Nobody's training men how to be man. Nobody covers for the man. Hey, there's no time for self-pity. Be a man. Rise up. Stop the violence. It is so simple. Because when you come up and play this trick of you're sidelining us, you're coming against the man. We're coming against the people that are doing the gender-based violence, people that are acting in violence. We're not coming against a particular person, but people acting in violence. And if our description fits your position, fits you so good, then you simply repent. You don't begin throwing tantrums. Oh, they don't care about me. And being a church leader, this is what I can say. When you're shown where you are wrong, you repent. You don't throw tantrums. You don't find someone to blame. You don't give an excuse for your behavior. As a man, you're the foundation. And if we're dealing with gender-based violence and there's violence in the home, you're responsible to either correct it or let it continue. So we are not going to go around and say, well, you're just coming against the man. No. You are the foundation. If there's chaos in the home, you're responsible. If there's success in a home, you're responsible. It all depends on you as a man. So to me, my brother, I'm not going to come up and say, well, the men are being ignored. The men need some help. You better love the men. You better care for them. Nobody loves us. They only love women. No, be a man. Get up and say, okay, what needs to be fixed? We're going to fix it and it will be done.
Okay.
Simple.
And fixing. Let's head to you, the church. We all go to church. We all subscribe to a given religious denomination. One may wonder, though, what is the church?
Maybe just a second before you really proceed there.
Okay.
Because you asked me a question, and then I had to answer that, and then the church. Allow me to say before Olive comes in.
Okay.
First and foremost, the church is meant to reflect God and show people where God is and how love ought to be in any relationship.
Okay.
That's the church. Now the church, today we've walked away from the biblical church. Now we've made up our own churches whereby I can be a leader in church and I can sleep with a woman and all of you, the congregation, celebrate me.
Oh, yes.
You say, oh yeah, he's good, leave him. He can change women the way he wants. It's okay, it's okay. He can change women the way we want. And now that's not the church of the Bible. That's not godly church, okay? Now, if anybody raises up a question or they say, hey, Pastor, you're sleeping with a woman that is not your wife. Do you know what I'll say? You're judging me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Now, let me tell you, if you simply change your behavior, then nobody will judge you. If you simply judge yourself, you won't need me to judge you. That is so simple. So the problem is the violence is increasing because the church is not understanding what love is. The church has totally walked away from love, walked away from reality, and we're just only doing showbiz. We are useless.
Wow.
And
Preach it, Pastor.
when it comes to the church, its role, before we even get into society, what do you think the church has failed to do so far? Because I want us to start with that, and I will also get back to the pastor to help me understand. Because we've seen the church also not speaking so much or coming out to take a stand on some cases, especially like the pastors mentioned, some church leaders have found themselves in the same scenarios.
Yes.
And instead, the followers are just protecting them.
Just praising them.
And praising them
Telling
for
them
being
it's
true
okay.
men of God. So
True men of God, the irony in that. Well, first of all, the church is not preaching against gender-based violence. You see, we should have sermons that are geared towards teaching against some of these ills in our society. Like church leaders are great opinion leaders in our society. You'll find that many people will do something because the pastor said to do it. You'll see a pastor comes onto the pulpit and says, we are going to fast 40 days. And with no question, the followers are going to say, at church, we are going to be fasting 40 days. No questions asked. Imagine what the world would be if our church leaders would go onto the pulpits and actually speak against these evils, and not just the Pentecostal churches. Let's talk about the Catholic Church. Let's talk about the Anglican Church, the Orthodox Church. Let us even go to the mosque. Religious leaders, you have let us down. You are not talking about the things that you're supposed to talk about. Church and even the mosque are places that are supposed to be family-centric, but they don't talk about these things. Instead, they are money-centric. Everything is about money. So you come, you give the gospel of hope. Is it even hope? Of miracles.
It's a hype.
You teach miracles. Hey, ogenda kulinya ennyonyi. You're going to do this. But you are not talking about the core issues of society. Then there is also, churches should promote cultural change. If we know that female genital mutilation is wrong, if we know that men should not be forced into circumcision, let's have the church talk about these things. But if you keep quiet and say, no, that's not my monkey, guess what? People are going to suffer. Back in that day, the church's role was to speak for the people. Whether men or women or children, it was to speak for the people. Whether in realms of politics and whatnot, but today, look at our church today. Internationally even locally here, we do not see that anymore. You go to church and the pastor is busy abusing another pastor from another church. Like the good pastor here said, you go to church where the gospel preaches love and forgiveness, and this pastor says, his wife. You go to church, the pastor now has his mistress as the new wife. You get? Like, I don't even want to get into people's private issues, but the church has lost it and it's not doing well. Now, also, Pastor, for me, I think since you are in the church, you should have community forums where you put men and women together. Maybe you have ladies in church speaking to women, but also men coming in to speak to women about how to treat their husbands and whatnot, but also bring the men into the conversation. Talk about the ills of domestic violence, gender-based violence, the fact that men are not taking care of their families. Like, have these open conversations, because I feel that some men do these things because they lack community. They lack people to tell them that what you're doing is wrong. Let's go back to the basics.
Okay, let me show you.
I have some comments coming through. Let me get through them as I head back to Pastor. To you, dear viewer, you can also call in and give us your opinion and your comment on our topic of conversation here on the role of the church in fighting against gender-based violence, but then also what you think the society or community can do. Now, I have Raul Alfred in Gamville, watching from Arua City. He says, to me, a number of ways can be used to fight GBV. Promote women's empowerment, education in non-violence and equality between men and women, rehabilitation programs for perpetrators of GBV, then believe and support GBV survivors in the community. This says, good morning, family. I think on a larger extent, the church has tried to mitigate gender-based violence. My church, which I subscribe to, Catholic, always preaches unity, equality, love, subordinate, peace, trust, and justice. All the above become the song every priest sings when giving out holy matrimony to every couple. Secondly, the church has gone further to give out free counseling to every dwindling couples due to every kind of violence, and many families have been rescued. And personally, I think partners have to know that relationships is a mixture of both tears and laughter, joy and sorrow, ups and downs, but it's up to each of the individuals to try their best. This is Cricket Derek Gagamel from Makindye Wafu. And this one says, good morning, Uganda. Thanks for the program. I have an abusive husband. Oh, sorry. He always tells me that he's tired of me. Very arrogant. Always nags, even jeering in front of my 3 kids. It's AK from Gina. I think it's Ginger. He talks to me like he wants.
Basically,
I think, Pastor, we can start from, because this is now a personal comment. Which
that's
seems,
a personal comment. But
I'm going to someone is facing
yes.
what we are discussing.
Let's
today.
first look at what Olive said.
Before we head to this case.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she said in churches today, the church has not played its role. I will agree. Okay? The church has not played its role. To stop gender-based violence, you must first admit as a church, and you preach it, that gender-based violence, as a matter of fact, is happening because we do not teach the Bible. We teach culture. We teach dogma and human wisdom.
Yeah.
Number one, in the Bible, male and female are equal. How many churches teach that?
They tell us the husband is the head,
and
we are the neck.
No,
that has been misinterpreted. It
totally
should be
misinterpreted.
Okay.
Now,
yes.
let me show you. They say, we're the head, you're the neck. They're talking of hierarchy, but the Bible doesn't talk about hierarchy. The Bible never says women should not come to the platform. The Bible never says women should not speak for God. The Bible never says women should not stand alongside us. In fact, that we are equal. But the church has refused to teach that. We are bringing in culture to the church, and we teach culture, not the Bible. Men and women are equal. As long as we keep telling people we are not equal, and we come with this hierarchy, twist of God's word, we will support gender-based violence. In fact, I'll say this. The reason gender-based violence is on the increase is because the church is telling lies instead of speaking the truth. Men and women are equal. When the church releases that reality to the world that men and women are equal, gender-based violence will begin to die. But we teach that they are not equal. And so what do? You come to me and you say, hey, I'm your wife. I say, since when? Shut up. I'll do whatever. I'll talk to you whatever way I want. Just like the lady said it. He jeers at me, curses me, does everything. Why? We've told them that one is the boss, the other one is a subordinate. That is not of the Bible. We are equal. And God created them male and female in his image. Created he them, Genesis 1. 26, 27, 28, created he them in his own image, male and female, and said, have dominion. Dominion was given to both. It wasn't given to the male only. Being a head does not mean a boss. Being a head means a servant, the origin, the source. That's what being a head is. So when I have a wife, she is a member of the body. She is not my partner. Two different things. People say, this is my partner. No, she is not my partner. She is my member. Member of the same body. She is not a neck. No, she is not a neck. She's the entire body. The head feeds the entire body. So she's everything. And all I need to do is nourish her, be able to direct her, be able to protect her, be able to guard her. That is what real men do. Why? Because I know what love is.
But Pastor, sorry to interject, and I hear you on what you're saying. That's what real men do. But I think we've centered our conversation so much around what men do, and we have not really addressed what the women are doing.
Olive, let me first tell you this.
Yes. I want us to be balanced.
Tell you this. Let me tell you what balance means. If you have a house that is peeling and that is developing cracks and everywhere, what do?
You fix
Maybe you're not good at construction. But I'll tell you something. If cracks keep coming up, you go to the foundation.
That men are not doing what they're supposed to do.
You don't just keep fixing the cracks, fixing the cracks.
You go and see where the
go
problem
and
is.
See where the problem is.
And
now,
at the
most
core
people,
of the family.
Exactly. I am the head. So if the head rots, And you say, no, let's deal with the body. As much as we deal with the head, we deal with the body. Does it make sense?
No.
If the head rots, deal with the head.
Pastor,
the body will fall in place. It doesn't matter how twisted the body is. It will fall in place when you deal with the head.
well, Pastor, this comment coming in from AK from Ginger, who says, good morning, Uganda, thanks for the program. She reveals she has an abusive husband who is always telling her he's tired of her.
Yeah.
Very arrogant, always nagging, even jeering her in front of the 3 children. Now you can look at that emotional kind of abuse that is going on in this situation. How does a person even survive?
The best you got to do is, first and foremost, first discover who you are. Your own identity helps you survive. If you don't have an identity, it's so hard to survive. Most of our culture and churches have taught that women get their identity from a man. And that is so dangerous. Your identity is supposed, as a church leader, I tell you, your identity is supposed to come from God and not from a man. So you discover who you are, you appreciate who you are, and then you discover this man has got issues. He doesn't know what love is. He hates himself because hurt people will hurt others. Okay? And this man is hurting and he can't give you love. So when you get to understand that, you get to realize, actually, he doesn't define me. I am fearfully and wonderfully created. I belong to God. I still have value. I can make it. Look at that. When you see it in that manner, then you approach him and you say, what you do is not proper. And then you begin facing the truth, not running away from it and being a victim. Don't play victim. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You're not the first to be abused by a man, and you're not going to be the last. Rise up and say, I am beautifully and wonderfully made. It's not what they say about me. It's what I say about myself that will make a difference. When you get that, I'm telling you, his words will never affect you.
We do have another comment here. 95% of born-again Christians are living free and in peace because our pastors and apostles teach domestic violence, not fighting out. The gospel is ironing out domestic violence. John Joseph, I'm not sure about what you meant, but thank you for your comment. And this one says, good morning, UBC. I'm Kawesi Abdurrahman. About the issue of gender-based violence, it's massively contributed by men because of gender equality. God created his human in respect to all spheres. This one says, good morning, I'm Nai. Let me tell you, song called, those church are in business. They're emphasizing wedding every time. And, well, Pastor, now this one says the churches are not doing enough because they are only emphasizing weddings, and they're earning some money out of it.
Emphasizing weddings is not the real problem. I mean, should we emphasize sleeping around?
No.
Thank you. So when somebody says they emphasize, what do you want us to emphasize? Go ahead and commit adultery. Go ahead and leave loose. No, that is what we're supposed to do. But simply because there are other people among us that are actually speaking against the word and speaking things that don't build people but build themselves and empires, that is where the problem comes in. But apart from that, the church, God still has a lot of people that are teaching his people good, and they're developing. Allow me to say this personally, okay? One time we were doing construction of a building of our church, and the chairperson beat his wife. And the wife called me and said, Pastor, I've just been slapped badly by my husband. And I called the husband. I said, hey, did you slap your wife? And he said, you know, Pastor, I'm going to bring everything I promised I'm going to bring, and I'll take care of whatever building, but leave my family out of this. I know how to treat these women. They are really horrible. And I told him, I'm asking again, did you do it? He said, I did it, but this is my own family. I said, I'm your pastor and your family is my business. And the problem is God gave me a long nose. I poke it there. So I'm going to poke it in your business. And if you are really offended, you're no longer the chairperson. You're fired.
Well, of
Walk
course,
away. And that's how it did.
You took a stance.
I took a stand. I told him, I don't need your cement. I don't need nothing from you. I don't want you beating your wife. He went away. 2 years later, he called me saying he's grateful.
And Pastor, we do have a caller online. I want to pick his comment and opinion. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. So Sonko on the audio.
Kindly get off your screen and talk to us.
Yeah. Now, I just have a few comments here. These pastors, mainly now, they have resorted to politics. There's a certain pastor I would like to mention. He go to the church talking about politics for 3 hours. These are the issues they should have been speaking about, but so mainly this one is on Ugandan pastors in Uganda, which is they could have been.
Oh, he was talking about the church, but of course, if you're calling us, get off your screen, also reduce the volume of your TV set, and then we get to listen to your comment. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
To you. This is Mwonge Ahmed calling from Kayunga Bale, Galilaya.
How is Kayunga? Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sebo. Kyemyongerako ku kya kyaki eyo yali yongedde n'emphasizinga ku domestic violence. Firstly, again, hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Tukuwulira Sebo.
Okay. Emphasizing the church yongere ddala okulwanyisa domestic violence mu maka. Bagenda oluusi ne bagatta abantu abo ng'oba ate oluusi bamaze genda kuba mu courtship tebamaze babuulira ne because of born again oba catholic oba orthodox bagenda otandika okutuuka ewaka na confusion nyingi. So kyati ogwo mulimu gwayo kubanga obufumbo in Genesis bwatandikira mu ki Katonda yatandikawo obufumbo. So mulimu gwa kyaki okulaba nga balwanyisa domestic violence mu ggwanga n'okusinga ki gavumenti. Mwonge Ahmed nkubidde Kayunga Galilaya Bale.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment from Kayunga. Pastor, the gentleman makes a very, very pertinent issue here. He says that the church has normalized this issue of, for us, we are born again, this is how we do, we are Catholics, this is, we are Orthodox, this is what we do. So I wonder though, but we also have another caller online. Hello, good morning. Hello? All right, Pastor, we've lost that one, but let's go back to the other comment from Kayunga. The issue of the church. Says it seems that every church is taking things the way their doctrines are scripted.
You see, and that's
Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Barara.
Hello, good morning. Kindly increase on your volume. We're not hearing you.
Emmanuel from Barara.
Yes, Emmanuel. Pastor.
You see, one thing we need to understand is we need to walk away from, like you said, scripted doctrine and read the Bible for ourselves. If we keep saying, oh, the church, well, somebody's going to tell you, you actually are the church.
Okay.
How much have you read the Bible for yourself? How much have you taken in and you say, does the Bible really say this? For example, today, divorce is on the rise. And guess what? We, the church, are supporting it. Today, you all are coming to church. One says, I don't want you anymore. They walk away, and guess what? We don't talk about it. We just let them keep coming, and we say it's all right. One breaks here, marries another, and it's all right. But what does the Bible teach? We are not going there, so we really need to take responsibility. Divorce is domestic violence. Biblically. Divorce is domestic violence. So if we're letting it flow in the church, it's because we are failing to act upon God's word. And we believe, I got in the church, I do what pleases me, I can do anything I want. That is where the problem is.
Okay.
And most of us pastors do not have the courage to say, hey, Mr. Sonko, that is not your wife. Because Mr. Sonko will stop bringing the tithe. Stop bringing the offering.
And you want the tithe.
And I want the tithe. And that is the danger among many church leaders. And I can say to you, if it's Mr. Sonko, tell him, Mr. Sonko, please.
You know, I have a story of personal experience. One of my relatives somewhere, in one of my, in one of those families from my relative's side, is that he got married, and after that, he cheated on the wife with a church leader within. They were both church leaders anyway.
Okay.
The others were the elders of the church. And then, hello, good morning.
Wow. I want to hear the end of that.
Go on.
Hello, good morning. So the issue was, the relatives of mine, both were elders of the church.
Yes, thank
and
you
then,
for the program.
yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lugazi. My name is Fred. I appreciate the program, but I have one concern for the church. Over time, we have seen a number of some pastors and reverends having affairs with the church members. And it raises the question whether the church has safeguarding policy that exists. We request the church body to ensure.
All right, we've lost the caller, but he makes, I think, the same kind of comment I was making here. That you're seeing church elders, a church elder having to cheat on his wife
With another church leader.
With another church leader. Because the other one was a church elder from the elderly capacity. Then this one was a church leader amongst the young ones, the youth.
Okay.
So the elder had to go with the youth leader in that kind of thing. And the viewer this morning has also shared the same, saying that it seems the church has not been vocal against, let's say, pastors sleeping around with, let's say,
The sheep.
the sheep, the follower, or even sleeping around with the fellow pastor's wife.
Also,
and no one has taken a stand.
Also, Jerome, to supplement on what he's saying before you answer, we know one pastor in this country who broke off his marriage and went with one of the people, I think she served in the choir. Okay, so a marriage is broken, children are now abandoned, and this pastor is now living freely and openly with this new person. So where does that leave us as
the reality,
the followers?
The followers, I would like to blame the followers too. You don't want to read your Bibles, you don't want to act upon what God tells you. So if some man comes and claims to be a pastor or a reverend or bishop or whatever, and he says, this is who I am, all of you just celebrate. I mean, you don't know what the Bible says. The Bible is clear. This is adultery. Why don't you pack your bags and walk away? What are you doing over there? Pack your bags and go. But in your folly, you stay there and applaud. And after that, you start complaining. What are you complaining over? What you tolerate?
And now you church leaders, what are you doing to put such men of God into their place, to take them back to basics? Are you just watching from the sidelines?
No, it's not like watching from the sidelines.
Okay.
Right now, I'm speaking. Okay? I'm not holding back.
No.
I'm loud and clear all over the world. I'm not holding back. If you're a pastor should be married to only one wife. One, not two. There are some of you that are married to 2, 3, whatever. That's chaos. That's you walking away from being a pastor, and you're abusing the name of the Lord. I would like to speak to spiritual leaders, reverends everywhere. If you keep sleeping with women that you're not married to, and you claim you're anointed, you claim you've been set apart, nobody can touch you, I'm telling you, you're abusing the name of the Lord and taking it in vain. There will be a price to pay.
You're giving them spiritual anointing. We have a call online. Good morning. And we have a comment here coming on WhatsApp. This one's Juma from Bugembe, Jinja. As far as the Muslims are concerned, for us, we always preach against gender-based violence because all of that is stipulated in the Sharia law. So maybe it's on the side of our fellows, the Christians, but thanks very much for the program. I've loved it. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Emmanuel.
To add something. When somebody says, well, this is for the Muslims, I say gender-based violence begins from not acknowledging that all genders are equal. So is there equality there? If you don't acknowledge genders are equal, you've started gender-based violence.
But also, there's something I've noticed from these comments. It is all about preaching against. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. We can hear you. Oh, we've lost that one. Most of these comments are, we preach, we speak against. Where is the action?
Where is the action? Number one, let me tell you something.
Yes.
It's time for all of us to begin celebrating equality and celebrating marriage.
Okay.
You see, the problem we have, most churches do not celebrate marriage. Marriage is something we kind of put in the dark. We even on Valentine's Day, we say, let's bring it out. And then we keep living loose lives. But marriage is to be honored by all. That's what the Bible says. We must esteem it highly. We must honor it. We must celebrate it. If we do that, it becomes easy. But remember what I mentioned earlier. Gender-based violence will be stopped if the church, if religious people agree that genders are equal. And no one is trying to promote or empower her. You see, the government is good empowering women. But I'll tell you something. This is what the church says. You are already empowered by God. And you just need to acknowledge who you are.
Pastor, what would you say about the need for mentorship programs for boys and men?
I think there's a need, and we really need to really follow it up. We need to do it. Today I'm mentoring. But the best I can say, before we set programs aside as a church, start speaking to people.
We do have a caller online. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm Cornelius. I'm calling from William.
Good morning. We can hear you. What's your take on our conversation this morning?
Yeah, I want to contribute to this conversation.
Yes? What is your take on the conversation we're having? Pastor.
Now, you see, what we need to understand, like you said, we need to mentorship programs. Even this is supposed to be something that happens on a daily. My life is supposed to mentor you. We should not isolate it and set it apart. We're going to get in more trouble. It's supposed to be daily. My life is supposed to mentor you. To me, mentoring begins with my own family, my own children. My life is supposed to mentor them. The way I live, my actions, they're supposed to judge me. They're supposed to weigh them. Does it walk in line with the word of God, with what I'm saying or not? If it's not, they're supposed to be free to say, Dad, you missed it over here. I think you need to kind of change it like this. But today, we live like hell, and nobody tells us anything because we believe if I'm a man, nobody tells me what to do. So then we say, let's create a mentorship program. Now it's holiday time, okay? And you see, come and we mentor your children for you. Bring them to us. This is ridiculous. This is just money making. I send my children for somebody else to mentor because I have no time on a daily to mentor them. That's the deception we're going through. And you pay heavily. You come, pay $200,000, $100. We're going to mentor your boy. By the time he comes back, he'll be a different boy. That's a lie. Mentor your own children. Take time to speak in their lives. Be with them. Correct them. Show them what it should be. Stop waiting for mentorship programs. No. Start it in your own house.
So the mentorship program, in your opinion, should be an addition to the efforts
that you already have.
Putting in.
But how many have those efforts? I'll tell you, it could be about 9 out of 10 don't have those efforts. The kids are just to be pushed away. Somebody take care of them. I'm too busy. I got a lot of stuff.
So basically, we are just giving our children activities to take time so that
we as a couple, we are falling apart. I don't even know how to love this woman. She's a headache. I don't even know how to respond to this man. He's a nuisance. And now we have kids. They don't know what to do. So we push them to somebody.
Oh, okay. And now I'll be taking the parting shots from the both of you as we are ending up with our conversation this morning. I'll start with Olive. Olive, what do you think on society, church, family can do, or even school, in order to fight gender-based violence?
Now, on the side of the church, I believe that the church should collaborate with maybe NGOs so that we can NGOs that are already involved in the fight against gender-based violence add their voice and effort to the work that the NGOs are doing so that we can now speak to people from the grassroots. Because what I know about NGOs, they will go to places where many political leaders will not go. And every local, every grassroots community has a church. So if our churches join their hands with the NGOs that are already doing this work, it's going to help. For instance, we said one of the triggers for gender-based violence is alcohol consumption. So if there is an NGO that is trying to help with spreading the gospel against alcohol consumption and talking about the ills that come because of alcohol consumption, and the church joins that, it will help a lot. But also we need to promote economic empowerment. Most women are not working for some reason. Pastor, I don't know if you touch it in your parting shots, but for some reason men, especially our Christian husbands, don't believe in their wives working. They say, I am the man. It's okay if you can afford to, fend for the family, provide everything. But most women are not earning. And because there is not enough money going around, we are going to have problems. She's going to have demands. He's going to feel insulted. Before you know it, a punch, a kick, someone is beaten.
Okay.
So,
Pastor, what would be your parting shots?
Well, in line with what my sister Olive just said, well, this is the reality. If we are going to be able to overcome gender-based violence as a church, we must acknowledge that genders are equal. Anybody that says the woman shouldn't, the man shouldn't, the woman shouldn't, is totally advocating for gender-based violence. Because where inequality is, injustice is bound to happen. And when injustice comes in, somebody who feels they're being treated unfairly is going to push back, and this violence will erupt. So I'm saying, as a church, we are light on a hill. If everybody's coming our way, are going to see us, let us shine. Let us bring it out. Let us tell people the truth. Women and men are equal, and that will kill gender-based violence.
All right. There you have it. And I'll end with two of these comments. Patrick in Lira says, how come in the early days the bond between husband and wife were very strong and lifelong, but in these days of activism and human rights, bonds between couples, even wedded ones, have become shaky and marriages are collapsing in droves. Then this one says, hello, Pastor, praise the Lord. Thanks for the word of God you are preaching. God bless you. This is Alinga Daniel Obanda from Karamoja. And then Emma says, good morning, UBC. It's my pleasure to listen to this program of gender-based violence. Have the spiritual leaders, we need to have the spiritual leaders trained or do to get enough knowledge. Some churches, it's a sin to preach word of gender-based violence. My request is that church leaders should mentor and be full with knowledge. I personally enjoy the conversation. I am at a refugee settlement in Rhino Camp. Thank you so much, Emma, and thank you for viewing. And also, I will leave you with a report here. There's a report from the Forum for Women in Democracy, which revealed that Uganda loses an estimated 31 trillion shillings annually due to the socio-economic impact of violence against women and girls. Well, interesting. You can easily see the impact even stretches to the economic bit of things. Now, our guest this morning has been Pastor Cyrus Rod. Thank you very much, Pastor, for making your time this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's always a pleasure.
Okay, and indeed, the pleasure is ours having you here every morning. I've also been with Olive Monica Najuma, who is returning after this break to take you into the movie recommendations as we head into the weekend. Stick around. Good morning.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo,
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Junko. Yo. What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
So December has started, and as we speak, this is our first weekend of December 2024. It's a chilly morning, so if you're not working, I believe this is time for you to Netflix and chill, Amazon and chill, whatever if it suits your fancy, you are having a good time. So if you're waiting for movie recommendations, I'm right here to give you just that. My name is Olive Monica Najuma. Let's get into it. So now, our first recommendation for the day is Juror Number 2, which is a 2024 American legal thriller film co-produced and directed by Clint Eastwood and written by Jonathan Abrams. The film is also starring Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette, among others. Now, looking at the plot of this movie, in Savannah, Georgia, journalist and recovering alcoholic Justin Kemp is called up for jury duty on a case concerning Kendall Carter's death, who a year prior had a fight with her boyfriend James Said at a local bar and was later found dead under a bridge. Sith is charged with her murder. Now, hoping to attract voters with a high-profile domestic violence conviction in her run for district attorney, Faith Kilbrew acts as a prosecutor. Witnesses confirm Sith was drunk and disorderly on the night in question and that he followed Kendall after she stormed off. Additionally, the coroner testifies that her injuries were consistent with a battery of a blunt instrument, and an eyewitness claims they saw Sith where Kendall's body was thrown from. Well, let's look at the trailer.
It was last October. It was raining, and I hit something. I got out the car and I looked around. I checked, I didn't see anything, and I figured it was a deer that ran off.
Okay, what's the problem?
I got called for jury duty. The Kendall Carter case?
1 year ago, on October 25th, the defendant, James Scythe, and his then girlfriend, Kendall Carter, they had a fight. And he's gonna pay for what he did.
What are you telling me?
Maybe I didn't hit a deer.
Let me just ask you one thing. Did you guys ever look at any other suspect? You know what to do.
Well, the cast is Nicholas Hoult and Alexandra Shipp at the 2029 WonderCon in Anaheim, California. Nicholas Hoult plays the eponymous juror and also as Justin Cape, a journalist called up for jury duty. Then Toni Collette as Faith Kilbrew, the assistant district attorney prosecuting the Carter case. J.K. Simmons as Harold, a former homicide detective and juror, among others. Now, the movie was premiered as the closing film of the 38th edition of the film festival AfriFest on October 27th, 2024. So you can find it and have a good time. Now, going back to our recommendations, the second movie for the day is Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End, or Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End. It is a 2024 Spanish zombie action thriller that is directed by Carlos Torrens from a screenplay by Angel Agudo based on the novel by Manel L'Oreal and starring Francisco Ortiz. Now, the movie follows a story near Christmas Eve in Spain. Manel, a lawyer and owner of a solar power company, and his wife Julia visit his older sister Belen, her husband Mario, and his nephew Carlos. As they drive home that night, a discussion about Manel's unwillingness to have children of his own results in a car accident in which Julia is killed. 1 year passes in which Manel lives in isolation with his cat, Lushulo, in his house in Galicia, maintaining only video contact with his sister and nephew. In his depression, he initially pays no attention to an ongoing outbreak of a dangerous virus called TSJ, which is rapidly spreading across Europe and resists quarantine measures. The Spanish government desperately tries to keep the population ignorant of how the virus turns infected people into highly aggressive zombies. Well, let's have a look at the trailer.
In the past 24 hours, a new variant of the TSJ virus has emerged, putting European authorities in a very difficult situation. It's been confirmed that the mode of transmission is through blood contact.
They're organizing safe zones to relocate the entire population.
The first plane trip.
The greater a population, the greater the number of infections.
Prepare to be evacuated to the nearest safe zone.
There's nothing to see here, folks. Please, no matter what you hear, stay put.
Move away and keep walking, sir.
Do you hear me? No matter what.
Prepare to be
I
evacuated.
think of all those people and I wonder what could happen if there's another outbreak. I thought that we were going to have all the time in the world.
Victor, tell me the truth. Are we prisoners? Stop asking questions.
It is never going to end.
Well, if you're into zombie movies, I remember watching World War Z by Brad Pitt, and I was in the cinema seated on the front row. So every time one of those zombies was falling off, I would freak out thinking they're going to fall on me. But I remember it was such a beautiful movie. So if you're into movies of this nature, then you should consider watching Apocalypse Z, the beginning of the end. It's a Spanish movie, but seems quite interesting. Now, it is starring Francisco Ortiz as Manel and Jose Maria Yaspic as Prichenko, Bata Vasquez as Lucia, Iria Del Rio as Julia, among others. Now, the film had its world premiere at the 57th Sitges Film Festival on October 5th, 2024, ahead of its 31st October 2024 streaming debut on Amazon Prime Video. So go ahead and enjoy. Now, movie 3 is a family movie which is perfect for you to watch this holiday with your children. We are into the festive season, festive mood. The Basamas have come home, families getting together. This is one of those that you could enjoy together as a family. Our Little Secret is a 2024 American romantic comedy film directed by Stephen Herrick and written by Hailey Didominicis. It stars Lindsay Lohan. She's back and like she's never left. So it stars Lindsay Lohan alongside an ensemble cast featuring Ian Harding, Tim Meadows, and others. Now, the storyline goes Avery and Logan have been connected since childhood, evolving from close friends to a couple. When Avery readily accepts an opportunity to work in England, Logan tries to propose at her farewell party, but she breaks up with him, uncomfortable with the pressure. 10 years later, they meet again by chance at Christmas, each dating siblings Cam and Cassie Morgan. Mortified, Avery convinces Logan to keep their past secret, especially with their partner's hostile mother, Erica. While the Morgan family gathers for their annual portrait, Avery and Logan are sent to pick up a tree. Logan asks Avery, an expert in business proposals, to help with an architectural pitch. In return, he'll help her win over the Morgans. Let's have a look at the trailer.
The holidays with my boyfriend's family for the first time. This is for you.
Look, it's a skirt top. Fast and easy.
Here we go. He has a lot of family members, too many to remember. And his sister is also bringing someone.
I want you to meet Logan.
My ex.
Will you?
No, Logan, I will not marry you. It's so great to meet you.
Yeah.
You cannot tell anyone about us.
This is funny.
The last thing I need is to give that woman ammunition. Do we have an understanding?
You are a nightmare.
Gonna be fine.
So, Avery, where are you from?
Peachtree City.
No way, that's where Logan is from.
No way.
Such a small world.
You gotta work with me here.
I got this.
Are you guys ready for church?
Yes!
That was your fault.
That boyfriend of yours is a giant mama's boy.
Kiss mommy.
Question, can you sign Cassie's report cards? Or do they have to go home to her parents?
You're very funny. I don't want you to think that I just moved on.
I've changed a lot. I'm not yours to worry about anymore. Get out before someone sees you.
Hi. Busted.
I'm starving.
Are you eating random pocket candy? Those gummies that you ate were laced with THC.
You're kidding, right? Tell me that you're kidding.
Just standing there.
You should say something. A long, long time ago, in a faraway galaxy.
Okay, Christmas crew, this is Secret Santa, our family's longest tradition, so be here or be uninvited next year.
Wow, wow, wow. Now, Lindsay Lohan is big and better. You remember her from movies like The Parent Trap when she was really young, then Ugly Chicks and many more. I'm glad to tell you she looks amazing and she has a lot of projects that are coming out. Among these is this movie, Our Family Secret, which is a family movie perfect for you to watch over the weekend or during the holidays with your family. So she's the star as Avery, and then we have Ian Harding as Logan, Tim Meadows as Stan, John Rudnitsky as Cameron, and Henry Cizani as Mitchell, among others. Now, the movie is going to be released. Actually, it was released on Netflix on November 27th, 2024. So what's your excuse? Really, what's your excuse for not having a good time? Well, Good Morning Uganda does continue, and Jerome Paul plus Ruben Pima are coming up next with sports updates. The other day, Arsenal did the thing against Manchester United. Now, as a Man U fan, I'm not really happy. Actually, if you don't see me at work, just know it's because I fell out with Jerome Paul and Trevor Robert. Stick around.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold